Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Rama Rava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jannavala Pa Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Rama Rava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jannavala Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yadvaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Gopimanandi, Hari Hari, Bo, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Who doesn't understand German? Nicht so gut Deutsch. Okay, wir sprechen in Englisch. You wrote down? No. Okay, then we just. I do have it on the phone. Maybe you can bring me a Gita, Bhagavad Gita.
It's there.
Ah, it's there. Okay, thank you. Sorry, didn't see it. Nunam pramate kurate vikarma. Yat indriya pritaya prinoti. Nasadu manye yad atmayo yam. Ashanna pikleshada ashadeha. Nunam pramate kurate vikarma. Yat indriya pritaya prinoti. Nasadu manye yad atmano yang. Ashanna pikleshada ashadeha. Nunang pramata kurate vikarma. Yat indriya pritaya prinoti. Nasadu manye yad atmano yang. Ashanna pikleshada ashadeha. It's number 4. Nunam pramata kurute vikarma. Yat indriya pritaya aprinoti. Nasanna yat atmanoyam. Ashanna pikleshada shadeha. Nunam pramata kurute vikarma. Yad indriya pritaya aprinoti. Nasadu manye yat atmanoyam. Ashana pikleshada shadeha. Nunam, indeed, Brahmata, mad, Kurute, performs, Vikarma, sinful activities, forbidden in the scriptures. Yad, when, Indriya Pritaye, for sense gratification. Aprinoti, engages. Na, not. Sadhu, befitting. Manye, I think. Yataha, by which. Atmanaha, of the soul. Ayam, this. Asan, being temporary. Api, also. Kleshada, giving misery. Asa, become possible. Deha, the body. Translation and purport from Srila Prabhupada. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he is already receiving a body which also temporarily is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have take on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. Purport. Begging, borrowing, and stealing to live for sense gratification is condemned in this verse, because such consciousness leads one to a dark, hellish condition. The four sinful activities are illicit sex, meat-eating, intoxication, and gambling. These are the means by which one gets another material body that is full of miseries. In the Vedas, it is said, Asangohi ayam purusha, the living entity is not really connected with this material world, but due to his tendency to enjoy the material senses, he is put into the material condition. One should perfect his life by associating with devotees. He should not become further implicated in the material body. Nunang pramata kurute vikarma yat indriya pritaya prinoti nasadu manye yat atmanoyang ashanna pikleshada shadeha. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which also temporarily is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jananjaya Shalakaya Chakshul Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Stavutale Shumad Bhakti Bhushan Swamiti Namani Prabhupada Samadaya Smata Gaura Kipadaya Satyari Shri Gurave Namaste. So, es ist nicht, wie sagt man, es ist nicht edel, einen materiellen Körper zu haben. Aber diejenigen, die in der materiellen Illusion leben, die denken, es ist das Höchste. Und das wird uns auch propagiert in der materialistischen. Okay. Indeed, I have everything in English here. So. In Gologadama I refused to speak in English because everybody is almost understanding German, and we have to also to train the German language. No? German words are 3 times more than English words, so we can much more elaborate things, especially in philosophical terms, than in English. German is the language of the philosophers. Yes. Yeah, why not? You are living here.
He's already in the German courses.
Yeah. But okay, we speak English. My English is not good. Maybe as your German. Ich habe dich nicht verstanden. Ja, hier ist der Standard, immer englische Klassen zu geben. Ich höre die Klassen öfters über Mayapur TV und die sind immer in Englisch. Sogar die Sonntagsfestklassen. Okay, so let's try again. So it's not a big honor to have a material body. But the materialists, they think, oh, it is a big honor to be burned, have taken burn in Switzerland, no? It's the most wealthy country in the world. So and you have a Swiss passport, that means you are somewhere in the world. Other passports also have a big value, but it's all connected to the material body. A passport is connected to the material body, no? So what does it mean in spiritual terms? Nothing. And that is what Maharaj Rishabdev, who is Krishna himself, want to teach his sons. Don't indulge in material affairs. No? It will drag you down. And the most dangerous material affair is sex life. Maituni badi kriyamedi sukami tucham. That is another verse which he is mentioning here. So these are very highly instructions. These are instructions of the highest level. Normally the Vedas are also describe fruitive activities, no? Because the Vedas are books which are meant for everybody. So therefore they have to address the spiritual topics to everybody. And for some people, first one has to teach Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moksha. That they come in some rule, that they can act in some rule. Because nowadays, on different parts of society, we can see there are no rules anymore. No? It's wild life, especially where the wars are happening. There are no human rules anymore. They are like animals. And the Vedas are often says, Svavit Varahoshta Karai, that are people acting like animals. They don't act according a spiritual understanding, a deeper understanding, a human understanding. Normally, the impetus is you shall not kill. So that's a big issue. So my spiritual master, once I told him, I think 2 years ago, we were reading this in Golokadam, and I met him and I told him about these verses, and he said, oh yes, these are very, very powerful instructions, and these are instructions meant for Paramahansas, for sannyasis, because they're very strict without any excuse. Because they, later on we can see how it happens. So he instructed his 100 sons, follow all Bharata. He is the most advanced. That means this is very, how to say, it's a military style. No? Yes, it's a military style, and in spiritual life we have this sometimes too. And so I found here a verse in the Gita, 3:30, Mayi savani karmani sanyasyat yatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva vigatachvara. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrender all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desiring for profit, which no claims to proprietorship and free from lethargy fight. So Krishna is using here sannyasya. Sannyas means giving up completely, be determined, stita dir muni, straightforward. This verse clearly indicates the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord instructed one has to become fully Krishna conscious, to discharge duties as if in military discipline. Such an injunction makes things a little difficult. Nevertheless, duties must be carried out, which depends on Krishna, because that is the constitutional position of the living entity. The living entity cannot be happy independent of the cooperation of the Supreme Lord, because the eternal constitutional position of the living entity is to become subordinate to the desires of the Lord. So Krishna on different parts of the Bhagavad Gita says, follow your swadharma. That is a verse in the second chapter, and there's a verse in the 18th chapter where Krishna says swadharma, follow your nature. And for Arjuna, it was not a sin to kill, because it was his duty, that was his service. So therefore, this swadharma is very important, that we also find our spiritual swadharma. And then we are happy in Krishna consciousness. Then we are always engaged, and we are never looking for some engagement, because if we can, how to say, manifest our swadharma in our daily activities in devotional service, everything is perfect. So in the beginning, not in the beginning, also when I came in Krishna consciousness, this verses were the doctrine. So not even the newcome spiritual masters, on those time, first they were only Prabhupada, and then they had 12 followers, or 12 spiritual masters, the zonal acharyas, for some time, and then they could see it does not work. We need more spiritual masters. Even today we say we need more spiritual masters to fit everybody who is coming new in the process of devotional service. So, and then in this time, the newcome spiritual masters, they were following these instructions. They said, our disciples, my disciples, should not marry. So then after some time, they could see that it doesn't work. And then they said, okay, my disciples should only marry in between the association of God brothers and God sisters. And then they could see it doesn't work either. So these are very highly instructions, and therefore we have to find out what we can do in spiritual life, and how we can survive a lifetime in devotional service. No? This is the challenge nowadays. No? Sometimes we are very much attracted to the process, and after some time we see our material desires are coming, So, and then our mind is wandering there, and then we get so many difficulties because we cannot fix up anymore. So therefore, it is maybe important to understand what does it mean, sannyas? And what is the meaning? In one sense, we see it is to get an initiation with a certain mantra and to change the dhoti and to work under a spiritual master. No? Every sannyas disciple has a guru, a sannyas guru, no? Under which order he is doing his service. So this is the ashram, the sannyas ashram. But on the other hand, what is the meaning of sannyas in daily activities in devotional service? So Krishna himself explains it to Uddhava in the 12th canto, where he says, Itangsa sthaya paratmanishtam adyashitam purvatamai mahashibihi aham tarishyami duranta param tamo mukunda angri nishevayavat. So what does it mean? This is a story of a very rich brahmana. He was so rich, but he was simultaneously a big miser. He doesn't want to get anything of his wealth to others, not to the government, not to the temples, not to his relatives. So and that was a big issue, and everybody was hankering after this money. So and later on they found the government found his way, and his relatives found a way, and even others, even thieves and so. So and last endly, the wealth of this brahmana was gone. And then he said, okay, then let's take sannyas. So it's easy, but this was then in society that was a big thing. So what is he? He was such a miser, he was such a rich man, and now he's taking sannyas. Nobody was believing him. So they doesn't accept it. But he was detached. He got the point. So sometimes we have to go through big difficulties to get the point. So that we say, okay, now I know, now I understand what to do. So, and what is the meaning of this, what Krishna says here? And the song of this Avanti Brahmana means, Etangsa astaya paratmanishtam. I will surpass this ocean of nischayans because I have paratmanishtam, I have faith in Paramatma. And faith in Paramatma develops from faith in the spiritual master. Now, we need a person to whom we can trust and to whom we offer our service, and then Krishna consciousness is increasing in our heart, and we are coming to a broader vision. There is this famous verse in the 2nd canto, Akama savo kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yoga yayetampo shambharam. Udaradi means to have a broad mind, to not just think in terms of I and my, to be broad-minded. So, and that is coming by association with devotees. We are becoming impressions how others are doing. And here, this brahmana, he was also looking what others are doing. So he said, I have the others, the previous acharyas, they were successful in their attempt to cross over the ocean of nischayans. And therefore, I will also be successful. That's also an issue which we can see. We have to find, in Germany we say Vorbilder. What is it? Huh? Yeah. We have to find persons in whom we think, oh, I want to have something what he has. And we cannot get the same, but we see sometimes persons who are very effulgent, who are very fixed-minded in the scriptures, in performing their own devotional service, And for us, as I say, even in my term, for aspirants, this is impressive. No? So we like it. We like to follow such persons and to study such persons, how they are doing. So, and then the other thing, Mukundankri Nishevayavat. So I have full faith in performing devotional service. No, this is what we learn from the first step, what we do in a temple, from the first service, what we become and perform. We see, oh, this is nice. No? This is nice. I like it. No? We feel something when we are doing devotional service, especially if it is according to our own swadharma, no? If it is according to our abilities, what we have. Some of us have a strong mind, some have a strong body, others have strong conviction. Everybody has qualities. And the best is that we use these qualities in the terms of devotional service. And even then, we can even add more. We can earn more qualities. So qualities are arising by good association. And by bad association, everything is diminished. Everything is shrinks on terms of time and circumstances. That is material life. Everybody is afraid that it will have an end. And devotees is looking forward and says, yes, sometimes material life has an end. It's not that we wish that, but we have an understanding in eternity that we want to continue in devotional service. That is the understanding of highly advanced devotees. Not that they want to go back after this life to Krishna, no. Life after life they want to be engaged in devotional service. That is the understanding of devotees. And that happens no matter what circumstances are happen. That we can see in the further steps of this story, when Maharaj Bharata later on were renunciate and living in the forest, and then somehow he got attached. So nobody knows about this. Not his brothers were following him, and nobody, because in these times there were no social media. Nobody could figure out that Maharaj Bharata has a fall down and doesn't reach a higher state of perfection. So he was coming again in a material body, but he had his remembrance. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is full of unique stories, and they are not all straightforward. No? There are sometimes stories of big failure, of fall downs, so that we can learn that we fit. If we hear only stories which are perfect, then maybe we lose interest. No? Everybody knows of us that we are in the actual state that we are not perfect, and that we have to deal with our mind, and that our mind is somehow still a part of the material world. It's not yet fixed to 100% on the lotus feet of the Lord, on devotional service. So therefore, we have to learn to accept ourselves in devotional service. And we make thoughts to maintain our spiritual life for the rest of the lifespan of this material body. Yesterday I was very thankful. I saw it the first time when I saw these deities. That was in the end of the 80s. I was the first time in this. So now I'm again here, and in the morning I was praying that Krishna allow me to come more often. So this is that means there is already maybe a little attachment to the deities and to the association with devotees in my heart. So maybe I have a good chance but it is not sure. No, they're always there. There can be so much danger in the future, like Maharaj Bharata. No? He was so advanced. Even his father, Rishabdev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was instructing his sons, your brother Bharata is so advanced, follow him, serve him. So later on he failed. Somehow he failed. So later we can understand that this is an arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. There is a verse in the eighth canto, I don't know the exact number. They are stated that the Supreme Personality sometimes creates difficulties. So the devotees, they can accept it, but the demons cannot. No? The demons, then, they are looking always for material circumstances. They want to have material explanations, why things happen and how things happen and so on. For us it is not important. Even Krishna sometimes speaks to the gopis, oh, this happens by providence. So who is providence? Krishna alone is the providence. So that by this we can understand that he is the sum and substance of everything. Krishna is the person in whom we mostly trust. He is our relationship. And that we have to learn. That last endly it is he. So where is your connection to Krishna? What is your reason that you are here? Is it a special arrangement, a special agreement from you and him? Think about it. For me it was like this. So I was in terms of this verse, I was a criminal. I was always looking for material circumstances. And no matter how I could get it. No, I was not at all a thief. Sometimes I was a thief, but I was not a professional thief. I cannot say this. So. But I was hardly, as a student, hardly after Sanskritification, in all circumstances. And later on, I made a big mistake. I was not even thinking about it. So I made a work. Somebody asked me to do some work for him. I did it, and afterwards he told me, oh, see, I cannot pay you. I said, oh, okay. But I can give you a rabbit. I said, a rabbit? What should I make with a rabbit? No? And then I thought, okay, when I was a child, my father has rabbits. I didn't like to eat them at all, so I was not a fond of this, but somehow I said, okay. So, and I killed a rabbit to eat a rabbit. That is a highly criminal activity. But I did it by myself, and this changed my life completely. In the first moment, in the first days, I could not recognize it, but after some time, I could not sleep anymore. I woke up in the night, and my body was shivering and sweating. It was completely wet, and I was asking, what happened? What is going on? What did I did? In the first moment, I could not relate it to that it was a time between. But it was becoming more and more intense, and then I thought I have to do something. I cannot live longer like this. So with this, and then on I was looking after relief. Where I can get relief from such fear. I had so fear, existential fear, because I took a life of another living entity. I was not yet a vegetarian at this time, and before, as a child, I didn't like to eat meat much, but somehow I had no chance. So, and then somehow I came to scriptures. First there were the scriptures of Buddha, and then later on I became a Bhagavad Gita. And for the first time I opened the book, I could understand this is something about the absolute truth. But I could not figure out about what it was at all. So therefore I took some time. I got the chance to go to Spain, and there I was a friend. He has a place there where he was living in the hills, in the Sierra Nevada. It was a nice place. You could see over the Strait of Gibraltar to Africa. You could see the African continent and so on. And there I was studying the Bhagavad Gita. And my question was, I want to know what is the truth. I want to know it, really. I was inquiring about knowledge. But the inner mood was fear, existential fear. And this time it was not so prominent at all as it was before, but it was still there. And then I could really get the point to read the Gita. Some verses were very nice. I said, oh, this is very nice. Very interested to know this. And then I came to this verse 1866. Savadaman parityacha, mamikam sharanam vacha, aham tvam savapapibhyo, moksha isha mimasucha. And then I was thinking, okay, who is speaking here? Who can promise this? And then I said, okay, you. Okay. And then immediately, I will surrender. Okay, I understand. It's you. So I had an understanding as a child. I was raised up in Catholic circumstances, in a Catholic environment. So for me it was always common sense that God sees everything, knows everything, and so on. But when one comes to a certain age, then it is somehow this is discovered, and it becomes so diffuse, one cannot keep it at all. So even if one has to deal with his own sexuality, so then everything is covered. In this moment, it reveals, it becomes consciousness for me. Okay, you. Okay, I trust you. I said to myself, I trust you. I will follow you, and I want to meet those people who live like this. That was my conclusion to read this verse. No? And from this, not immediately, but from this time on, this fear was gone. I could not feel this fear anymore, that I had done such horrible things to kill another living entity for eating. Because it was not necessary. I was not so hungry, so somehow I did it. I don't know why I did it. I don't know really. But it happened. So when I'm in this, I'm guilty. But somehow Krishna, and that is Krishna. So if we learn to trust in Him, if we find our own personal relationship to Him, then we are safe. And that we must do in an honest way, without any faults, without duplicity. No? There is a verse in the second canto, Avyalika Fratatrita. Krishna congratulated Brahma for his sincere austerities. Without Avyalika Fratatrita, Fratatrita or Trita Frata, these are also terms from the Bhagavad Gita, with great conviction, with great determination. And Avyalika means without any duplicity. No? Brahma was alone, he got the instruction, tapas, and he was meditating about this. There were no any other thought in his mind. He just followed these instructions. And this is also Savadaman Paritya. Just, okay, give up all your understandings, what you mean, what is the true or what is religion, just follow me. Then you are safe. That's an easy task if one can do it. But if our mind is still filled with material affairs, especially in the terms of maitunadi, kriyamedi, sukhamitucham, in terms of the opposite sex, then it is very complicated. So therefore, in those times, the Guru said, my disciples should not marry. But this cannot happen. So we have the desires. We are in a certain status quo if we come to devotional life. So, and therefore, Grihastha life is very important. It's very important for not for everybody, but for certain devotees it is very important. And it can help that man and wife can work together in devotional service and can inspire each other and can help each other to become free from the entanglement. And after some time one can understand, oh, this I am a spiritual soul, I am a servant, I am a part and parcel of the Lord, and this is the material body. So after some time it becomes, how to say, visible, touchable. You can feel it, you can touch it. Oh, this is like this, and then you can perform your devotional service with great convictions in a sober and steady mind. That is what the scriptures reveal to us. And the only thing is that we have to be determined and to believe it, like the Avanti Brahmana. He believed, oh, the others were successful, the previous acharyas were successful, I will also be successful because I'm following this path. And I have great conviction in performing devotional service. So, and if the mind is controlled, then the super soul is reached. No? Then you are directed by the super soul. And everything is easy in spiritual life. Hare Krishna. Until here, maybe. Maybe there's some questions or some comments or own realizations. Yeah, then we stop here. You have a question?
Thank you so much for your lecture. When you were saying that we shouldn't think of I, me, and my all the time, I was reflecting and seeing that this happens to me so often. Like when I was not so serious about Krishna consciousness, I thought I would even think less of me because I wasn't even conscious, and now I'm conscious that I'm always thinking of me. And of course you told also we really have to have this full faith and conviction that actually devotional service will purify us and that we will become Krishna conscious at one point. But can you give some practical advice more and more to how to overcome this?
After the time it becomes clear what we are and what we are not. So mostly everybody in the material world is thinking in terms of I am the body. Sometimes maybe some thinking I am the mind. Intellectuals often think I am the mind. No, that's also wrong, because the thoughts are coming and going, like Plato said. We are not the mind. We can use the mind as a tool. We can use the body as a tool. But we are spiritual souls. We are eternal. We are sparks of the Lord. It is a process of learning to find out what is my real what I am. That's the process of self-realizations, to understand the self, your real self. And your real self is an I, you in relation to Krishna. Therefore it is not wrong maybe that now you are thinking more in terms of I and mine. But I don't think that you think it in terms of materialistic I and mine.
Yeah, but think less about I either
Hmm?
spiritually or materially? Isn't it the goal to think less and less about ourselves, like even on the spiritual platform?
No, not necessarily. You always can think, I want to please my spiritual master. And you will do everything for his pleasure, especially if you can serve him, like you now. You are thinking very often about how I can please my spiritual master. So you want to do it, with all your qualities, with all your belongings, and the material body is one of your belongings, and the mind also. They belongs to you. You can use them in the service of the Lord. So that's how to say, there's a certain process, no? A process of transformation. The desire to please the Lord. So somehow everything will change in your life. Sometimes we are analyzing too much. It's not so good. Better is to have an easy life, just to be happy in spiritual life and do service. And if we inquire so much with our thoughts, sometimes we come in difficulties. It happens. Often one can see. Sometimes some people are torturing the mind. No? That's a process of self-destroying. I don't think that you do this. So, but now it is prominent in your thoughts. Why not? Just follow the process, and everything will happen. And you will be successful, I'm sure. We have to have trust and goodwill. No? With goodwill, you can change everything. My mother often, when I was a child, sometimes I was very naughty, and I was always in the mind. I want to have this, and when I got this, I was not satisfied. Then I want the other thing, and so, and often my mother shouted at me, "Show goodwill." No? That's important. That you can, by this, you can change your opinion immediately. Okay, I want to show goodwill. I want to be submissive. It's our choice. Ja? Du wolltest was fragen?
I was wondering, because you were speaking about we have to find what we want to do in Krishna consciousness, right? So it's a big topic, and I think something is very important also for new devotees, because you see many devotees come or people join, but then also they go away a little bit and they do their own thing. So how, especially as temple devotees or full-time devotees, how do we engage people correctly in a way that they are inspired and that they can continue devotional service for a lifetime, not just for some.
One have to speak with each other to find out what is the qualities of certain devotees, what they like to do, what they have learned. Do they have a profession? No? Do they have hobbies, what they like to do? Special skills? Yeah, it's a big task. When I was a young devotee, they always, when the temple commander came or the temple president said, "Would you like to do this service, Prabhu? Would you like to do this service?" I said, "Yes." No? So it was very polite. The dressing was very polite in these times. But sometimes I could see that other devotees were not engaged well, and then they lose faith and went away. If somebody, especially if somebody was getting pressed in a certain service, so this should be done now, we need it. So, and then certain devotees disappeared and never came back. Yes, it needs some qualification to engage others in devotional service. One has to be, I think, at first, one of the best, most important thing is to be detached and experienced. It's easy if you love persons. Then it becomes easy. Okay, enden wir hier. Kantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Wie lange bist du jetzt schon im Tempel?